Leadership isn't about having every tool. It's about knowing when to use the right one. Just like golf, if you reach for the wrong club, you're more than likely not going to do too well with that shot. In today's episode, listeners, I'll show you why smart leaders don't just carry the toolkit or the golf clubs. They master the timing. Let's discuss.
Welcome to Leadership is Changing. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change. This is taking your leadership to another level by finding the balance between executive excellence and personal well-being through stories that inspire real change. It's time to adapt in our fast-moving world when leadership is changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos.
Welcome to the Ask Dennis episode. This is a freestyle episode where I'm asked a question by our listeners, or I share my thoughts, experiences, and insights from working with many leaders around the globe. Hey there, listeners. Well, welcome back to another episode of the Leadership is Changing podcast. I'm Denis Gianoutsos, your host, and today I want to give a shout out to someone special, a guy called Justin. He's an avid listener of the podcast. He's always engaged and always learning. So Justin, hey, welcome. And recently, Justin and I had a conversation that sort of sparked the idea for today's message. We got talking a little bit about golf. Yep, golf. And I was sharing a story about working with a group of leaders, and in particular, a group of top talent leaders in Europe. In the room is probably about 80 of them. Now, when we got back from the break that we had, which was a small morning tea break, I wanted to discuss about an analogy of golf and how it relates to leadership. So I stood there on stage and I asked the question, who here plays golf? And various people put up their hands. I went, great, keep your hands up. For those of you who play golf, what is your handicap? So when you're playing golf, depending on how often you play and what scores you get, you will get ranked and be given a handicap. Now, what I was looking for was to see what number was coming up. Now, if it's 20 plus, it's okay. But if you're in the mid-teens, that you're doing really, really well. And so I was asking people, and people were telling me 22, 20, 18, and so forth. But what I had done is during the break is I primed somebody in the audience to ask me the question of what my handicap was. So this guy towards the back of the room puts his hand up and I go, yes. He goes, Dennis, what's your handicap? I went, oh, great question. Well, my handicap is 4. Now you think about the pros and all that. 4 is like, wow. And we went, what? 4? Do you have time to work? Well, what do you do? And I went, well, for me, my handicap is 4 ear shots before I hit that white, stupid little ball. And they all laughed their heads off and so forth, because the game of golf is really interesting. You've got a bag full of clubs, and then you have little, what we call tees, and then you put them to the ground and you put the ball on top, and you've got a white, real small golf ball. Now, whether you're a pro with a single-digit handicap that I talked about before, or someone who just enjoys the casual hit at the driving range, there's actually something really powerful about powerful leaders can learn from the game of golf. In golf, it's not just about having a bag full of clubs. It's actually about knowing which club to pull out at the right time. The driver, that's really great for teeing off, but trying using that on the green. Yeah, you probably hit the ball, but it may not go too well for you. And you'll probably laughed off the course and probably lose the game. Leadership is the same. It's the one thing to have a full toolkit. Things like skills like emotional intelligence or decision-making, coaching, communication, adaptability. But the true art of leadership is knowing which one to use and when. So let me break it down for you. When you're kicking off a new project or maybe even setting a new vision, that's your driver. That's the big club that you want to use. Why? Because it's big impact, long range thinking, so you can hit the ball very long range, and you set the tone. But when tensions are high and you're dealing with a sensitive issue, don't bring out the big club. This is where you probably want to bring out your putter. It's precision, it's quiet, there's influence there, and it's measured responses. Too often, I see leaders swinging the wrong club, using force when more than likely empathy is needed, or delaying decisions when urgency is required. Now, the other thing is there could be certain results as a result of you not doing it well. You might actually have missed opportunities. You may actually damage relationships or the team that start to lose trust. So listeners, my challenge to you today, if you think about the golf analogy and so forth in leadership, is number one, take inventory. What's really in your leadership toolkit? Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. What's in there today? What's missing? But what do you need to do to bring up to the level needed for you to lead? In other words, what extra clubs you might want to need to put into your bag to allow you to actually lead where you need to lead. Number two is know the course, the golf course. Because you see, every day is a different game. And even if we watch the pros and they might be playing over 3 days, you'll notice that every day is a different game. So you need to understand your environment, your team, the challenge, the terrain, things like that. Number three would then to select the right club or select the right leadership skill or tool with intention. So don't just react. What I think you should do is step back and pause and choose the right tool for the moment. Now, we see the golf players, the pros on TV and so forth. You'll see them actually step back, pause. You might even see them kneeling down with their clubs, looking at things, looking at the terrain, the wind, where the bunker is and all that sort of stuff. The other thing they do is they breathe and then they select the right tool. Justin reminded me of this whole topic about the golf clubs and so forth. See, great leaders, like great golfers, they don't just play hard, they play smart. It's very much a strategic game, but also so is leadership. You don't need to use every club in the bag in every round. But you better know which one to reach for when the pressure's on. Hey, Justin, thanks again for the great chat the other day. Remember, it is about progress over perfection. And if you're listening to today's episode and something I say sparks a thought, hey, feel free to reach out to me. You could actually be an inspiration for next week's or the coming week's Ask Denis episodes. Until next time, leaders, what I'm going to say to you is keep adapting, keep learning, keep honing the tools in your leadership toolkit. Make sure you've got the right clubs in the bag. And remember this, leadership is changing. All right, here's your call to action this week. If you need help, feel free to book a 30-minute strategy call with me. How do you do this? Well, there's a couple ways. First, go to my website, leadingchangepartners.com, and you'll see some buttons there which says book a call. Click on that. It'll open up my booking link, and feel free to just choose a day and time, and it will come into my calendar and your calendar. The second way is down below of this episode is what we've got show notes. So talk about some topics or themes coming out of today's episode, some quotes and so forth, but also how to get hold of me. There are my website and other kind of social media links, but there's also the link for you to book a call with me as well. Hey listeners, that's it for this episode. It's always a pleasure being with you. Thanks for joining me on the Leadership is Changing podcast. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Leadership is Changing with your host, Denis Gianoutsos. Each week, we and our guests provide information and insights through exploring leading change, inspiring executives and leaders to adapt and lead a bigger game in a fast-moving world.